Big Cable's home internet will put you through the stages of grief, like denial.
My introductory rate is over, but surely they won't raise the price.
Or anger.
They've raised it!
But with T-Mobile 5G home internet, you get our price lock guarantee, so we won't raise your rate for internet ever. And it's just $50 a month with autopay and eligible payment method. Check availability today.
Price lock exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Qualifying credit required. Regulatory fees included in $50 price for qualified accounts, plus $5 per month without autopay. Debit or bank account required.
You're ready for a comeback. And with Purdue Global, you can do more than take classes. You can take charge of your story, of your career, of your life. Earn a degree you can be proud of and get an education employers respect. It's time, your time, not just to go back to school, but to come back and move forward with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults. Start your comeback at purdueglobal.edu.
Hello, from Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. This month, we're pulling back the curtain to reveal women overlooked in their own lifetimes or in our historical accounts of the eras in which they lived. We're talking about the activists, thinkers, leaders, artists, and innovators history's forgotten. Today, we're talking about a woman of mystic visions and miracles. Her devotion to God and the Catholic Church earned her a group of loyal followers and a political alliance with the Pope. Today, she's remembered as a saint, literally. Let's talk about Catherine of Siena. Catherine Benincasa was born on March 25, 1347 in Siena, Italy. She was one of the youngest of her parents' 25 children. Catherine's family belonged to the new and emerging middle class in Europe. Her parents envisioned that Catherine would become a mother and run her household, the common path for girls of her social status. But when Catherine was around 6 or 7 years old, the visions started. First, she claimed the Virgin Mary appeared to her. Not long after, little Catherine also started hearing voices, urging her to devote her life to God. It wasn't unusual for children raised during the Middle Ages to go through a deeply religious phase. Her parents hoped it would pass and that she would turn her attention towards finding a husband. But Catherine wouldn't drop the subject. As a teenager, she vowed to remain a virgin forever. She also cut off all of her hair. Since it was customary for women to have long hair during courtship, Catherine was able to buy herself some time. When she was 18 years old, Catherine's parents finally allowed her to join the Dominican order on one condition. She could become a tertiary, basically a nun who took vows but didn't live in a convent. For a few years, Catherine holed up in a little room in her parents' home, devoting most of her waking hours to prayer. She also began to refuse most foods, consuming only vegetables, water, and bread. In her early 20s, Catherine received another vision. Later, she claimed it was the stigmata, a phenomenon in Christian mysticism that involves feeling pain or developing wounds at the site of the body where Christ was nailed to the cross during crucifixion. A few years later, Catherine fell very ill and seemed on the brink of death before a miraculous recovery. These experiences convinced her that God must have a plan for her. So Catherine traded solitude for active service and began tending to the sick and dying. Once she even drank the bathwater of a leper she'd helped nurse, and claimed that it transformed into the blood of Christ as she swallowed it. She also traveled beyond Siena to spread God's word. Like most middle-class women of the era, Catherine had no formal education, so she couldn't start her own order of the church. But she did develop an informal group of disciples. She called these men and women her family, and they affectionately referred to Catherine as Mama, even if they were much older than she was. She became known as an influential spiritual leader and a miracle performer. She reportedly floated off the ground during prayer. And once, a priest claimed that the Holy Communion suddenly flew out of his hand and straight into Catherine's mouth. As her reputation grew, Catherine began to throw her weight into politics. It was a time of upheaval in Europe. Attempts to unify the continent under a single emperor, or pope, hadn't panned out. And many of the nations and kingdoms were in conflict. Catherine wrote hundreds of letters urging European leaders to submit to the authority of the Pope. She wrote as if she were addressing close friends and not important heads of state. She began her letter to the notorious Joanna, Queen of Naples, with, dearest and most revered mother. In 1376, Catherine traveled to Avignon in France, where Pope Gregory XI had taken up residence. At first, Catherine was ignored. She was, after all, just an uneducated middle-class woman. But the Pope soon recognized her extreme devotion to the Church and influence over others. When he launched a crusade, Gregory asked Catherine to help convince soldiers to join the cause. He also used her as a mediator in dealings with the government of Florence. When Gregory died, Catherine threw her support and many strongly worded letters behind Pope Urban VI during a skirmish for power in the Catholic Church. By her early 30s, Catherine's fasting practices became dangerous. Eventually, she stopped eating completely and barely drank water. Her final months were spent mostly in bed, weak and tormented by visions of the devil. She died in Rome on April 29, 1380, when she was 33 years old. The people of Siena wanted Catherine to be laid to rest in her hometown. But getting her body out of Rome past the guards was going to be impossible. So, a few smugglers decided to remove only her head, hidden in a bag. As the story goes, the thieves were searched as they left the city. They prayed to Catherine to protect them. When guards peered into the bag, they found not her head, but rose petals. Catherine's final miracle was complete. Her mummified head was preserved in the Basilica San Domenico in Siena, where it remains today. Catherine's influence also lives on in her letters, almost 400 of which still survive today. And her instructional religious work, The Dialogue of Divine Providence, was widely circulated in Europe after her death. The Roman Catholic Church canonized Catherine as a saint in 1461. And in 1970, almost 600 years after her death, she was named a Doctor of the Church, one of the first women to ever receive the honor. All month, we're talking about women behind the curtain. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. Talk to you tomorrow.
No one likes to talk about money. Am I saving enough? Can I buy a house? Am I paying too much in taxes? Will I be able to retire? What if you could unlock insights about your finances in less than 5 minutes with a clear picture of where you stand today and where your money can work harder? Now you can. Visit Facet.com to take the free quiz and get your financial wellness score today. That's FACET.com. This ad is sponsored by Facet. Facet Wealth Incorporated is an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor is it investment, legal, or tax advice.
Tired of restless nights? At Leesa, we know good sleep is essential for mental, physical, and emotional health. From memory foam mattresses to hybrids that keep you cool all night long, Leesa's mattresses offer exceptional comfort and support with free delivery and 100 nights to try out your mattress in the comfort of your home. For a limited time, save up to $700 off select mattresses plus 2 free pillows. Go to Leesa.com/iHeart for an additional $50 off mattresses and select goods. Exclusions apply. See Leesa.com for more details.
Explore a wide selection of premium spirits, wine, and champagne at ReserveBar.com. Elevate your shopping experience with 2-hour delivery, custom engraving, and more. Never miss a good spirit with Reserve Bar Top Shelf. From wines to whiskeys, there's a bottle for everyone. Add favorites to your cart today at ReserveBar.com. Cheers!